Hi, it's Pip Mackay here, and Tiger and I are here to tell you that it's day 40 of our 40-day quest to write my book. And I say our because Tiger's been very patient with me whilst I have spent all my time and every waking moment thinking about this book and writing it and putting everything in, like snatching moments of time between teaching and answering emails and seeing clients and doing all the things that we all have as busy people running businesses and doing things. So I've got something really exciting to do, and that is to show you the first draft of my book. Look, we all know that books aren't written, they're rewritten. So there'll be many drafts of this, but I feel that I can quite confidently say that I have definitely finished my first draft of this book in 40 days. I've pretty much written 2,000 words a day. It's been a big journey. So in terms of the hero's journey, I might even bring that up. Let me bring that up. In terms of the hero's journey, I've had my call to adventure, had my refusal of the call. That was where on the first day I was going to start on the last day of the month, but I thought it was a better idea to start on the first day of the month. And I'm so happy I did that because I could remember then what day I was up to each time because it followed the days of the month. And, then I had my magical aid. That was sometimes technology, that was sometimes people that helped me to cross my first threshold and actually get started writing. And then I had the belly of the whale. That's things where things were pretty calm and just kind of went pretty well. And it was, a place of grace where you just crossing over that first threshold and having that moment where things seem to be peaceful as you actually get started on your journey. And then there was the road of trials. I had a lot of trials just in terms of the fact that, my personality doesn't find it very easy to do something every single day because I get bored quite easily. And during that time, I did lots of interesting things. I kind of allowed myself to run away but take my book with me. That was one of the things that I did. I had lots of people to support me, particularly my mum, who's just been tremendous, and Leela and Ravi and just all the people who have been so supportive of me and helped me through that journey, as you've seen in the videos. And then I had that temptation. There's always that temptation where you just want to stop, or maybe there's been a day when you can't do any writing at all and, you feel like just giving it all up. And of course, I face that like everybody faces when they're doing a big journey. But I had such a passion for it that I was able to keep going. And then there was apostasis, that's death and resurrection. And I faced that feeling when I suddenly realized just how much, things were coming up for me about my godfather and my mum and their health issues at the moment. And then there's organisation and responsibility, God, the power, that can be in different places. But in a way, that was just so like getting on with it and just doing the do. And one of the things that I did was, plan each chapter and what was going to be in each chapter. And that was a really fantastic thing that I did because it allowed me to, just snatch moments of time and know, okay, I need to do health for the night. And even if I couldn't do anything more in that, 10, 15 minutes, I could just get that done. And then at other times when I had longer bits to do, I could get that done when I was like doing 2 hours and stuff like that. And just being really organised and feeling responsible to you guys too, those people following my journey. And there's been a lot of people following my journey. And then there was the ultimate boon. I think that's actually, in some ways today, it was also also part of that was on the weekend, and seeing the massive transformations that people made during that time. And I just want to make particular mention of Elise, if you're watching, because I just thought it was beautiful what she said at the end there of archetypal coaching artistry. Yeah, the idea that we can love ourselves and that that's not selfish. So I hope that's okay, Elise, if I acknowledge that. And also Alex is he was a Paralympian, and he's in a wheelchair, and he really wanted to come, and I interviewed him yesterday, and I find him so inspiring because there's someone who isn't letting even those physical limitations of a wheelchair stop him from dreaming and taking action and following those dreams and coming and learning about archetypes. He's already a writer and knows a lot about archetypes anyway in the hero's journey, but it was very inspiring to have him there. He's an amazing person. So thank you guys. You're part of my ultimate boon, which is, my ability to write this stuff and have people influenced by that and touched by that, and how that influences me and touches me and inspires me. So thank you guys, all of you, and all the other people who were there. Leela, who did the amazing cooking, and all the other wonderful people who were there. You guys really make it worthwhile for me to do what I do. So that's the ultimate boon. And then, there's the refusal of return. I'll probably feel that way when I don't get to do a video blog every day, even though sometimes it's been really a bit trying for me. But I think I'll have a little bit of that. And I also want to thank very much Ray, my VA. She's been posting these on each weekend, as well as every day during the week. She's had her floods, through everything that's been going on, and she's just been there for me and been putting up the blogs every day, and that makes a massive difference to me. And she's just so beautiful, and often been very inspired by the blogs as well. So thank you so much, Ray. And then I'm going to have a magical flight. So this will be my trip to India, which is happening on Thursday. Thanks, Tiger. You can go now. Happening on Thursday. So that's where I'm up to at the moment, and I look forward to what happens in the other phases. But I think a lot of this is going to be my editing and what's going to go on. I'm going to give myself a break from it all when I'm away. I think that's going to be important, so I come back and look at the book with fresh eyes. So anyway, here's the book. I put pictures in because they inspire me. So this is the book, and going through the book now. And here we have the Innocent Adventurer and all of the chapters and sections of the Innocent Adventurer that I've done. And subtypes like the clown, health, their stages of growth that you go through as the Innocent Adventurer. And I've chosen Richard Branson as the example of the real person for the Innocent Adventurer. And then I've chosen Icarus as the story. And then there's the Magician. So there is the Magician, same thing. And I've chosen Dynamo. So thank you, Joseph, for introducing me to Dynamo. He's a UK magician. Does extraordinary things, impossible. The Magician Impossible, he's called. So thank you, Joseph, for telling me about him. And I've done the story from The Magus by John Fowler, so that will be the only one that I won't be rewriting and reinterpreting, because it's a fabulous story just as it is. And I'll also say hello to my godchildren. There's Joseph's children and Sandy's as well, who I think about many times, and I've put in my acknowledgements at the front. And also my eldest godchild, Desphina, and my fairy godchild, Dimitra. And also Ryan in England. So then there's the High Priestess. Same thing, I've chosen Angelina Jolie as my example of a real person who's a High Priestess. And I've done the story of Morgan Le Fay, which I spent a lot of time rewriting and researching and bringing in a lot of different sections in there. So I'm really excited about that story. Some of the stories are quite long. And then there's the Creative Nurturer. And I've chosen Oprah Winfrey as the example of the creative nurturer because I feel like she's like the universal mother. And what's the story I did for this one? Oh yeah, then I did Kuan Yin, the female Buddha, for that one, the goddess of mercy and compassion. It's a beautiful story, and I've rewritten that and put that together. So a lot of this will still need a lot of editing. And then there is the ruler, and the person I've chosen for that is Nelson Mandela. I think Nelson Mandela also has a knight in him, but when I was researching him, I really saw that, his father was a chief. He came from a ruling family, and if he was just a knight, he wouldn't be able to have entered into government and to have done, the forgiveness program that he did, which I know is hugely controversial, but I think made a massive difference to help things stabilise there in South Africa. So I do see him as that universal father, and I think many South Africans would see that as well, and been a hugely influential figure in the world too. So I know that he's a controversial figure in some circles, but I do see him as the emperor or the ruler. And then I've done the story of Solomon as the example of the story. And then there's the sage. I have done Deepak Chopra for that, although I may change my mind because I wouldn't mind having another woman in there because I want to have a balance between men and women in there, so I may change that in the editing process. And for the story for the sage, I've done Chiron, who was he was the teacher of the great heroes, Achilles and a whole number of the great heroes. And he's like, he was a really wise centaur, and Apollo taught him too. So I'll need to do some big rewriting of that story. I've just kind of got that together. And then there's the lovers. For the real people, I'm doing Hugh Jackman and Deborah Finesse. I really see them as a really fantastic example of a very healthy relationship. So I'll be putting that in, and there'll be some more work needed there. And for the story, the Once Upon a Lover's Tale, I've done Gawain and the Lady of Little Mercy, which is one of my all-time favourite Arthur stories. It's kind of like a subplot of Arthur. So I've done a lot of writing on that one, but obviously it'll need editing. And then the final one, the knight, the real person that I've chosen for there is Glenn Manton, but I need to ask his permission. So if he ever sees this, I haven't asked his permission yet. He's someone that I know personally, and he's been on Australian Story as well. But I would really like to interview him, and he's someone I found very inspiring. He moved from being a VFL football star, one of the top 50 football legends of all time, to creating the charity White Lion. So I'm very interested in interviewing him further personally so I can get that story. I've written what I know of him and what I've researched, but I'd like to interview him personally. And then the story, of course, for this knight has been Parsifal and his quest for the Holy Grail, which is an amazing story, and I've written a lot on that one, and it's been very long, but it's just extraordinary, and I just love that story so much. And I'm very grateful to Lindsay Clark, which I've used as inspiration for a modern retelling of the Parsifal and the Stone from Heaven story. So very grateful to them. So now we're coming to the last page. There's some things I've decided not to do there, and you are seeing it here, and I am going to type in the words, the end. So there you go. I finished my first draft. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for watching. It's been fantastic to have you there. I couldn't have done it without doing the videos. You guys have really inspired me, and thank you to all the people who've written to me from India, from all over Australia, friends of mine, people I don't know. It's just been wonderful. People have made comments on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. I'm just so grateful for your support. And I think for me, in terms of this quest, what I would do differently next time is have weekends off. That would take pressure off me and my VA and the people who are supporting me. But I'm really happy that I did it this way. And the other thing I'm want to learn from it too is that the doing of it wasn't nearly as stressful as the thinking about it was. So I'm going to go to my own coach tomorrow, and I'm going to do some clearing around that because in actual fact the doing was actually good. I got into it, it was fun, and that wasn't particularly stressful at all. But thinking about having to do it and thinking about having to do the blogs every day, which I really loved, so it was bizarre that I found that stressful. So that's been a huge lesson for me, that often the doing is just not nearly as stressful as the thinking about the doing. So I'll do some clearing on that, and maybe I'll do a video blog about how I found that afterwards. I've done my best to be as transparent as possible, and it's been exciting to see that my journey has truly reflected, that the hero's journey, which is thousands and thousands of years old. And it really proved my hypothesis that when we do something outside of our comfort zone and we go on something that's big for us, might not be big for somebody else, but is big for us, that we all do go through a hero's journey. It's a part of our DNA, like it's been part of the DNA of thousands and thousands of years, of generations of people who've decided to do something out of the ordinary and go on a quest for something extraordinary. Go on a quest for your own personal Holy Grail. And I look forward to hearing about your stories and your Holy Grails. So feel free to write to me and to make comments. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much. So it's good night from me and good luck to you. Bye.